Welcome to the Tiffany Mika podcast. What we do here is build the strength and courage in you to accomplish your big dreams and goals in your sport. No longer will you feel limited. You won't feel you're not good enough. You won't question whether you will make it. Those doubts will disappear because you will have the competitive edge over your opponents and leave them in your wake. And the bonus is others will notice. Listen up and take notes because I will show you exactly how to do it. Hey there, Tiff here. Welcome to the Tiffany Mika podcast. Well, here we are back into the lessons learned. Again, we've done the striving in lockdown. Now we're back to the lessons learned. And as you know that I like to share lessons learned throughout the week, either that I've learned along the way or what I've seen people learn along the way. And it's all set up so that it's helping you become the athlete that you want to become and also the person that you want to become. So what's the hardest thing that you'll ever have to do in your sport? What would it be? Is it the mental side? Yep, that's hard. Is it the training side? Yep, that's hard. Is it the practice side? Yep, that's hard. Is it the competing side? Yep, that's hard. Is it the learning side? Yep, that's hard. Is it the nutritional side? Yep, that's hard. All of it. All of it's the hardest thing that you'll do in your sport, not just one. All of it. And it all requires work, doesn't it? You bet. You bet it requires work. And that's the hard part. The hard part is the work. And there are going to be many days that you just don't want to do the work. And there's going to be many days when you don't want to get up early. And there's going to be many days when you don't really want to train. And there's going to be many days where you don't want to practice. And there's going to be many days that you don't want to eat high performance food all the time because, you know, when that hamburger or that ice cream or that pizza looks so good, right? You can taste it. And life is like that too. You won't want to go to school, right? You don't feel like it. You'll feel tired. You won't want to go to college or university on that day. Not in the mood. You won't want to study. You won't feel like it. You won't want to do your homework because you won't feel like it. But it's in those moments that you'll be tested. And the universe will be saying, hey, Jacob, or hey, Rebecca, or hey, Caitlin, how much do you really want this? And the answer will be, you'll say, yeah, I do want this. And you can respond with even this answer, yeah, I do want this. This is my life. And I don't want to do anything else. But when it's hard, and when you're not seeing the results, and when you don't feel like there is any improvement, and it will feel like you are going backwards. I can guarantee at times you will feel like you are going backwards. And you will feel frustrated. And maybe you'll feel even angry because nothing will be changing. Well, you won't be seeing it. That's how you will feel. And then you will question, should you keep going because this is just so hard and will it be worth it? What then? Because when everything is going awesome, when everything is like rocking, you can see the improvements. You can see that you're getting better in practice. You can see that you're getting better in training. You know that you're faster, fitter, stronger. You are more mentally alert. You're performing better, even getting some wins. When that's all going awesome, you forget about the frustrations and the anger. You forget about how hard it was. You forget about not seeing those results because they're happening. You forget about how hard it's been because it's all working really well, isn't it? It's all flowing. And you'll feel like that you finally have made it. Like it's no longer hard anymore. You've finally made it. You've gone through to that next level. You've finally won that match or that competition or that race or that fight or that game. You've finally been selected for that team. You've finally qualified for that tournament. You finally won a particular event or a match. But you know what happens then? It will start all over again. It's a cycle. Sure, you've made it to the next level and a higher level, but that doesn't mean that you can relax. It doesn't mean that you can go to the beach and drink a mocktail and chill. Notice I said a mocktail, not a cocktail. You've got to get going again. You've got to work just as hard as you did before. But this time it's going to be more intense, isn't it? Because you've made it to that next level. This time you've got to practice even harder. This time you've got to train even harder. This time you've really got to perform even better than what you have been performing. And then what happens? You're going to go through those same feelings again. You're going to find it hard to get out of bed early. You're going to find it hard and you'll be frustrated and angry because you're not seeing the improvements. You're going to feel like you're going backwards. There's a pattern here, isn't it? But it's a cycle. And if you've heard the episode where I talked about it's not the destination, it's the journey, the key point that I made in that episode was that you are learning a set of skills to get to a particular destination, that particular goal that you're working on. But when you get there, then what happens? You move to the next destination. That's where you want to go to. So then you've got to learn another set of skills to get to that next destination. And that cycle continues. So you're probably going, Tiff, where are you leading with all this? What are you talking about? Well, everything works in cycles, just like the seasons of the year. So we've got summer, we've got spring, we've got, in here in Australia, we call it autumn, from wherever you are, and we've got winter. So when it's tough and hard, it's like those cold winter days, isn't it? Don't want to get out of bed, too cold. It's darker early in the morning. It's darker earlier in the afternoon. Your mental attitude can change because it's a bit more miserable, especially those rainy, cold winter days, right? It makes you feel low. And when it's spring and summer, like we dive out of bed with excitement, the sun's shining, it's warmer, we feel good, the weather helps with that as well, right? But we feel so awesome in the summer period. And don't worry, I'm getting to my point here. But when you go through those winters in your sport, nothing seems to be changing, does it? No matter how hard you work. You don't feel like training or practicing. What's the point? There's no improvement. You don't want to do it. You don't feel like it. And I want you to go in with the attitude of this, and this is my point. Just show up. Because when you don't feel like it, even though it feels so hard or it feels too hard, if you show up, it's going to be easy to get started. Because once you get started on your training, once you get started on your practice, once you get started on working on your mental skills, by just showing up, it's hard. And it's half the battle, especially when it's tough. It's easy to show up when it's easy, isn't it? It's easy. You want to do it. You feel like it. You're in the mood. You got a lot of energy. You can't wait to just get stuck into it. But showing up when it's hard, that's where the secret is to becoming the champion that you want to become. And when you have this mantra, just show up. Come on, just show up. It will get easier. Because even if you go in with the attitude, just show up and I'll just do, 20 minutes or 10 minutes. That'll end up flowing on. And the hardest part always is getting started. But once you show up, and even if it's still hard, you'll be much more proud of yourself because you did show up. You made the effort, really when you didn't want to. And that's a much better attitude than, no, I don't feel like it today. And no, I don't want to do anything. And then you don't do anything. And then you spend the rest of the day beating yourself up because you didn't do it. And then you'll get anxious because then you'll feel like you've let your practice and your training sessions lapse. And then therefore you won't get selected into whatever it is that you're working towards, or you won't get into that team, or you won't perform well and you will lose, and so on, right? It can spiral out of control just because you chose don't feel like it today. No, I'm not in the mood today. I'm not going to do that. Because in those hard days, you just didn't feel like it. You made the decision to show up. And I want you to think of it this way. Think of it like a bank account. All right, so what do we do with a bank account? Hopefully you're putting money in, so you're saving, right? But you put that money in to save that money. And over time, those incremental changes, it grows bigger, the account, doesn't it? Right? You're building up your bank balance. And when you need that cash to buy something or to do something with it, it's there, isn't it? And you can withdraw it and use it. And when you have this mantra of just showing up and you're doing that day in, day out, even when you don't feel like it, what are you doing? You're building up your athlete bank account. You're putting those deposits in because you're showing up even when you don't feel like it. You keep depositing in because you made that simple decision of just showing up when you didn't feel like it. Just showing up when it felt too hard. And that's what I want you to understand, is that most of the time it's going to be tough, especially if you're pursuing what you're pursuing. Because it's a tough world out there. It's not all what we call in Australia beer and skittles, rainbows and lollipops. It's not. Life throws challenges at you whichever way you turn. And it's how you deal with them. So if you show up and face those challenges, you're telling the universe, because I always talk to the universe, you're telling the universe that you want this. And you're putting in the effort. You're putting in the work. I know there's athletes out there because I speak to them. They're putting in the effort, even right throughout the lockdown that we've all experienced throughout the world with the coronavirus. I know athletes out there that they've just been still grinding away. They've still showed up every day. Even though they've had to modify everything that they've done, they've still showed up. And that's what you need to be doing. You need to go with the attitude of just showing up, because it's hard. It's hard when you don't feel like it. I'm the same as well. Some days I'm like, I just don't want to do that today. I just don't feel like it. And I'm like, just show up. Just show up. Because once you get started, you'll feel proud of yourself because you made the effort. And remember, you're depositing into your athlete account, your successful athlete account. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard. If you've got friends that you know that would benefit from these episodes, Of course, I'd love it too if you could share these episodes with your friends so that we can build the successful athlete community as big as we possibly can. And what are you going to do? You're going to show up, aren't you? Okay, dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams, take care, talk soon. You work hard, you make sacrifices, yet you still don't see the results. You ask the question, will I ever make it? Will I ever win? You are frustrated, which leads to doubt. You lose confidence and get down on yourself. There are reasons that you're going through this. You just don't know what they are. There is hope and there are answers. Join me, I'm Tiff, for the free Success Athlete Masterclass, because you'll no longer feel held back. You'll have more success and more wins in your sport. And the best thing, the hard work will pay off. Go to tiffanyMika.com/Sam, that's SAM. I look forward to seeing you there at the free training. Dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams.